So, my good pal Sundew just left to go apply for jobs and shit. Cause he just quit from his last job. So that's where he's at. You know what? I'm proud of him for quitting from his job. Basically, I'll give you guys a little bit of the rundown. Basically, his job, we both worked at the same job. It was a car wash, a local car wash. I'm not gonna name drop or anything because I'm pretty sure he already did, but I won't do it myself. Local car wash. I won't name drop anybody, but the job sucked. The job was awful. Quality of work sucked. The employers sucked. They do not treat their employees well. Like you can be an employee of like they hire a lot of young kids. I'll give them that. They do hire a lot of younger workers, like high schoolers and shit. So I can kind of understand, you know, being kind of like a little bit of an asshole because, you know, you're dealing with, you know, shithead teens all day long. So, mine shaft. Boop, boop, boop. So, you know, like, okay, I can, like, kind of understand, you know, why they'd be... I can understand a little bit why they would treat some people the way they do. But at the same time, they treat every worker like shit. So, I mean, I guess I can give them, oh, they treat us all equally. Because they treat everyone like shit. Or just about everyone like shit. But essentially, I'm just trying to find a spot to dump my... I just want to dump some of this shit so I can collect all that, but whatever. Ooh, I need torches. But essentially, yeah, we both worked at the same job. Car wash. And, the job sucked. The job really sucked. Quality of work was bad. The employers were pieces of shit that treated all of their employees bad. And like I said, I understand, like, they're how young, so I can understand they probably run into quite a few, you know, shithead teens. But at the same time, you could work there. You could be an adult, like, well into your 20s, because there was a guy who worked there who was well into his 20s. And he worked there for over a year, and they still they treated him like shit. They treated him like he was just some dumb 16-year-old, which was like, why? This guy's been working for you so well for so long. He was a good worker, and yet they still treated him like shit. That always bugged me. I used to work there, and I finally just got fed up and quit. I was just like, well, enough is enough. I'm done with this shit. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's dumb stuff. But he just quit from that job, and I'm proud of him. Because, you know, job was ass, and no one should have to put up with, you know, a shitty job like that, like we had to. Because, like, honestly, and I was saying this before. It's really kind of funny how employers have twisted how jobs work, essentially, how the workforce functions. So basically, I mean, like, the way, like, the workforce works is interesting because it's like, in reality, the employers need the employees. That's how it works. That's how it actually works. The employers need the employees for their businesses to function. It's not the other way around. It's not the employees need the employers. I mean, like, there is it is a little bit of a two-way street, but at the end of the day, it is much more of the employers need the employees, not the employees need the employers. But it's been twisted to where it's like, oh no, the employees need the employers. And it's like, no, that's not how it works. It's the exact opposite. The employers need the employees. So, like, we shouldn't have to put up with this shit. But people do because that's just how they view it. So, like, my big advice is that if you have a job that you just absolutely hate, and it's not like a real big career job, it's just like a little, you know, minimum wage, part-time gig, just some shitty little job that you just have because you need something, then, like, my advice to you is just quit that job. Just, honest to God, just quit it. Honest to God, just quit the job. You don't need it. If the job causes you, like, mental stress, mental harm, if it, like, really affects your mental state in a shitty way, then you don't need that job. You do not need that job. That kind of job, like a job that just really makes you kind of question if life is worth living. You know, like a kind of job that just really makes you just hate yourself. That's not a job worth having, and no one should have to put up with that shit. That is one of the biggest things that pisses me off about the workforce, is how there's this this image that it's like the employers are some benevolent god almost who are gracing us smaller working class people with, you know, the opportunity to work for them. When in honest to God reality, it is the other way around. The employers need the employees. And while, yeah, there's a bit of a two-way street, you know, it is like, without employers, there are no employees. But at the same time, though, it's like, it's not nearly as one-sided as it's made out to be. So, like, if you have a job that you just absolutely hate, you know, every day you go to work, it's just like a struggle to get out of bed, then my advice to you is to just quit that job. Like, hang on to that job as long as you can until you can find a new job, like be actively searching for a new job, and then quit that other job. Just quit it. Just get, excuse me. Just quit it. Just quit that job. Like, fuck it. You don't need that job. There are other jobs that you can find that will get your bills paid, you know? If a job really does just make you hate your life, hate everything about your life, then you don't need it. That's not a job that you need. That job will do more harm than good. Because, like, yeah, it's giving you money, paying the bills, but if your mental, but if your mental state is just suffering, then quit that job. Because I know when I was at my past job, the job that that Eric just quit from. Oh, come on, you little shit. When I was at that job, it sucked. Every single morning, it sucked. I hated it. I hated it, but the money was good, and I wanted the money, you know, because money is nice. But it just got to a point where I was finally like, okay, well, fuck this. This job it's hurting me more than it's helping me, and I finally just quit. I just up and quit. I tried to give a 2 weeks notice, but the bosses just kept ragging on me for dumb shit that I was not doing wrong. And my mom got sick, and I needed to stay home to make sure that I could take her to the hospital if she got worse. And my boss, instead of being like, oh, well, is she okay, yada, 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 she was just like, turn in a uniform today. And I'm not saying that bosses have to care deeply about all their employees, because, I mean, if that's the case, then that's just too much. That's just asking way too much of a boss. Because they are human, too. They make mistakes. I can acknowledge that. Bosses are human. They make mistakes. But just the fact that she was just didn't give a single shit about my reasoning for why I couldn't come into work. I had to quit on the spot right then and there. Like, a good boss at least gives half a shit about their employees. And our past bosses couldn't even do that. They couldn't even manage to give half a shit. They're just awful people. They fired a dude for being black. Like, no lie. This kid started. His name was Matt. He started. And literally after, I think it was his second or third day of working there, because it's a car wash, and it's a touchless car wash. So we have to, like, the only touching you actually do in the car wash is that you use your hands with damp towels to dry the car after the wash is done. And they have a proper drying technique, apparently, that they really want to all employees to adhere to. And he wasn't doing it right. Second or third day there, and he wasn't getting it down. So they fired him. And it definitely was not because of his skin color. Oh, no, 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 no. But he got fired after his second or third day of being there because he wasn't drying correctly. And it was like, are you serious? What a bullshit excuse to fire some dude because you're just a couple of fucking racists. I wasn't working there at the time, but Eric still was, and he got to witness that firsthand. If I was him, I would have quit on the spot when that dude got fired. I would have quit on the spot, because that's some hardcore racist bullshit that I would not put up with. But I'd already quit by that point. But yeah, the job sucked, basically. It was a shitty ass job. It sucked. Every day was just youch. Every day was just kind of a shitty day at that job. And I just want you guys to know that, like, if you're like a young kid, a young guy, kind of like us, just starting off into the workforce, you know, just now getting into it, I just want you guys to know, like, if you really hate your job, you do not have to put up with it. You can find other jobs. I'm not saying, throw a hissy fit and quit, because you got yelled at once by your boss. But if your job is just day in, day out, you hate it. There are very few good things about it. You just hate the job. And it doesn't even necessarily have to be the bosses, too. If it's, like, really bad coworkers, you do not have to put up with that. There are hundreds and hundreds of jobs that are always hiring. And there are always better bosses, or better managers at the very least, or better coworkers that you can find and actually have a good time with. Now, I'm not saying that a job has to always be, fun and games, but if you work at a job that just really drags down your mental state, that just really makes you almost hate life, then you need to get out of that job. That job is doing more harm than good. Work it for as long as you can until you can find a new job, and then just quit. Quit that other job. That is like the best advice I could possibly give to somebody. It's just if you just absolutely cannot stand the job that you work at, if it just drags you every single day, just drags you down, makes you hate your life, then quit that job. Get out of there. You do not need it. It is a lie. It is a lie that you need to keep a certain job. If it makes you feel just absolutely horrible inside, it is a lie that you need it, because you do not need a job that makes you feel like shit, that makes you feel like a horrible person, that makes you hate life. There are thousands of other jobs you can find that will not make you hate your life. And even if you can't find a job, there is nothing wrong with bouncing from job to job. Nothing wrong with that at all. Bouncing from job to job until you finally find something you like. Nothing wrong with that. In fact, if anything, it's encouraged, because then you get more experience, become a more well-rounded person, a more well-rounded worker. So, moral of the story is, if you're in a job that you just absolutely hate, you cannot stand it, there's not a single good thing you can glean from it, or if it's like there are good things but the bad things far outweigh the good, then quit that job. Get out of there. Find a new job. You do not need that other job. Whoa, this is cool as hell. You can always find another job. There are always jobs. People are always hiring, so you do not need to stick with a shitty job that you absolutely hate because it's the only job you can get. You can always get another job. Once you get past that very first job, like you show that you are an employable person, it becomes so much easier to get future jobs. Like, I already got a job, I quit probably about 2 or 3 months ago. I was just kind of chilling, looking for work, and I got a job. And not that long. Not that long of a time. I got interviews, I got a job. Like, shit's good. So, if you hate your job, absolutely hate it, every single day, it's a struggle. And you start having those really dark thoughts that I know everyone gets from time to time, and it's because of that job, then get out of that job. Work it until you can find a new one, and then just get out. Just be always searching for a newer, better job. That is the best advice I think I can give to young people, especially. Because I think, like, the younger you are, the more you feel like you owe it. Because there's always, like, a big sense of loyalty to your first ever job. Because it's like, yo, these are the people that hired me for the first time ever. I respect these people. But if it's a shitty job, like, if it's just making you feel like a terrible person, just get out. Get out. You do not need it. A job is just a job at the end of the day. And if the bosses don't treat you right, or if your fellow employees are just little pieces of shit, for whatever reason, then get out. You do not need that job. There are 1,000 other jobs you can get that will be better. It's just a matter of looking, honestly. It's just a matter of looking and actively applying to places, But it is just the biggest scam in the world. It's just such a big scam that, businesses make it seem like you're the one who needs them, when in reality it's the other way around. The businesses need you. So, yeah, it's just, if you hate your job, can't stand it, just quit. Find a new job. Hold on to that one until you get a new job, then quit that job ASAP. Especially if you're young. Don't feel like you have to work at a place just because it's your first job ever. That is a big lie, a big scam, and it will make you feel horrible as a person. So if you hate your job, get rid of it. Find a new one, get rid of it. There are always better jobs. Swear to God. Wahoo! Thanks, John. Thanks. That's the end of my little tirade about jobs. Let's see. So, like, shit, this is kind of... It's like kind of a mine shaft, but also kind of not. Like, I don't really know what the deal with this place is. But I'll have to come back here later when I have supplies.
Who are you talking to?
Who's talking to who?
Who are you talking to? Who...
I'm streaming.
Who's the... Oh! Oh.
Yeah. I didn't hear you come in because Discord mutes notifications when you stream.
I've been here for quite a while.
You just been listening to me talk seemingly to myself and you didn't speak up until
minutes,
now?
Yeah.
So who's really the weirdo?
Fair. No, that's fair.